Welcome back to Kill the Computer. My name is Caleb. As every week, I am joined by my co-host, June. How are you, June?
Not bad. Not bad. I'm doing great.
This week, we are talking about the country of Saudi Arabia and how they are taking over the world of esports, among many other industries. But before we do that, really quick, we got to pay some bills. We'll be right back.
At Palantir, we believe the best future is a predictable one. Every purchase, pause, and private moment helps us make the world safer and slightly more profitable. Because true peace of mind comes from predicting the future before it happens. With every click, swipe, and scan, governments and corporations alike lovingly archive and cross-reference your data to determine if you're a potential threat, a potential customer, or both. Palantir Technologies. The future will never surprise you again.
At BlackRock, we believe the world should feel secure because it's already spoken for. From the homes you live in to the companies that shape your everyday life, our investments help the world run just a little more profitably. Real estate, corporations, and even the natural resources around you are painstakingly managed by us, so you don't have to. You may not see our name anywhere, but you see our work everywhere. BlackRock, owning the future so you don't have to.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp, because mental health shouldn't be free when it can be scalable. Our occasionally licensed and credentialed therapists are standing by to convert your sadness into structured data, analyzed and shared with partners who care deeply about engagement metrics. Whether you're anxious, depressed, or just refreshing the news again, we're here to listen and optimize. BetterHelp, where vulnerability meets venture capital.
Listen, we get it. Life doesn't always work out. But at Arby's, it doesn't matter. Whatever's going on in the world, there's still a disgusting $12 gas station sandwich sweating through the bag waiting for you. Just eat the fucking slop piggy. She's never coming back anyway. Arby's. We have the meats. She has the kids.
All right, guys, we were very clearly just fucking with you. It's true that we were approached by a couple of networks. We have been a couple times over the years. We were thinking about doing it. We were humbled by how many of you said, do what you got to do, go get the bag and so on. But after talking about it, I think we just decided that it's not the best fit for the show right now.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense right now to just, do like follow the path that we've been following. We've been doing sort of like the adless model. I know me personally, if I hear ads on a show, I'm like, I'll skip through them or whatever. But like, I think it feels better for both of us to go adless, except for maybe an Arby's ad every once in a while. I'll take an Arby's ad,
Yeah, if I could make all the ads for us and I could just put a bunch of barking dogs and insults in all the ads, then I would do it, of course. But no, we're not doing that. So if you do want to support us, please do. The best way and the only way to now is patreon.com/killthecomputer. We are still running our government shutdown discount.
There's a chance that just goes for like a year. That might just be there for a year. Yeah.
That's so sick. We maxed out on the recession 50 code. Depression 50 is the code that you can use for half off your first month. If we max out of those or whatever, then we'll come up with another comical one. Don't worry. June and I have been tirelessly workshopping silly coupon names, so have no fear on that account. Anyway,
more fun things to come if you support us at Patreon.
And for those of you who do, thank you so much. Anyway, let's get this show started.
You're a big Madden dude. That's your game. That's your thing.
I don't even. Should I say how many hours I have on Madden on the
You
the
have
air?
to. Yeah, you have to.
Let me look it up before we get to that. But it's a humiliating number.
No, have that ready, please.
No, you seriously have my respect. This makes me think better of you. I think higher of you now. Not
526 hours and 55 minutes.
Okay, that's not that bad. That's really not that bad.
They make one of these every year, right?
Wait, do you have that amount on every game, though?
Well, so I actually haven't purchased the new one yet. I usually wait until at least halfway through the season because they go on sale. Actually, well, I mean, I don't know how much we're jumping ahead here, but it was very funny. This year, Madden, it's universally just loathed by the fans. And usually it's probably about week 10 or later that, or even at the end of the season or playoff times that we get a substantial sale off of it every year. This one, we had I think a 50% discount by like week 3 of the regular season, which is like, to me, that was like a legitimate recession indicator. Like Madden is 50% off in week 3. America is fucked.
You saw the Saudi Arabia deal coming weeks before it actually happened.
Like the big up Steve Carell in The Big Short. I see. Wait a minute. Week 3, 50% discount. Short
that is
everything.
A bad sign. No, that's wild.
I swear this was a good Madden year. I guess that's what happens every year.
Why was this one so bad?
Well, it just depends on who you ask, really. So, oh God.
Did they add gender to this one?
They have gender in Madden now. No, they kind of changed the engine. The actual answer is they just don't do anything with it. It's basically been the same game. I stopped playing for a couple of years for the same reason. It's just like the same fucking game over and over again. You're paying, I don't know, a substantial amount of money for a roster upgrade because you just get the new, all the new cool football guys every season. But like I stopped playing and then I started to back up in like 2019, and it's pretty much been the same game since every year. So it's like, why the fuck would we buy this every year? And so like they're really pushing like, the online stuff and just ways for them to kind of do, I don't know, more monetization online and stuff like that. Yeah. Versus me, I'm a cave troll. I play a franchise with the Seattle Seahawks and I play till year 2053 when they max it out and I can't play anymore. And then I start another one. So,
I mean, that's really the main problem with, I think, a lot of like AAA game industries, not like even just beyond Madden and beyond EA, is like all of these different companies just put out the same fucking thing every fucking year. And that's like so many gamers, like capital G gamers in like the political space talk about all sorts of like dumb gaming shit, like culture war shit. But that's not really what the problem in gaming is. It's stuff like you're talking about here. It's just like the very like useless reiteration of the same concept over and over.
There's a really good documentary out. Well, it's pretty good. I think it skips a lot of important context, but pretty good documentary about the making of Madden and the history and everything. And you'll notice the theme. So essentially EA has like all the naming rights to everything in the NFL. So no other game can use any team or player names, right? Yeah. It's a big deal. And if you go through the history of Madden, every time they've innovated or they've released a new something that has been beloved, it's because it was like an expiration year or a threat of like losing that exclusivity, right? And I think that actually runs out next year. I don't know if the recent sale impacts that, but yeah. So people were thinking this year we would get some sort of big change, and nope, pretty much the same bullshit.
Nothing. You get nothing.
So maybe EA loses those rights next year. I doubt it, but it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess
there's no more FIFA.
What was that? Sorry.
There's no more FIFA. FIFA's no longer. It's the EA football game now.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the thing that everyone actually plays at this point, from what I understand. Like people really fuck with FIFA. I guess Mohammed bin Salman also likes FIFA, I think, as well. That's his go-to game. I think he's sort of into that.
Well, they're buying, the guy Ronaldo over there. They're buying the World Cup bids. They're kind of just they're doing everything too.
Yeah, I guess before we get too
know anything about that. I don't play a fucking commie ball. Soccer? Soccer? Are you serious? Hell no, dude.
That's some pussy ass sport. Yeah. That's not American. That's not American.
Well, okay, how American are you? Are you going to play the new college football 26?
No, that's for that.
Man, I want to. I'm trying so hard to get into college football.
Is more American than the NFL football. If you want to go to which is more American, then it's easily the SEC dominant sport. That's real America.
Yeah, well, even especially when they weren't paying these kids too, that was even more American.
they were getting CTE just for the love of it.
Yeah, for the love of the game.
Because the NFL is very West Coast, East Coast dominated. College sports is the heartland.
That's true.
Of America. It's the kids. It's the guys that are already getting brain damage at 18. Okay, it's about them.
Absolutely.
Dude, that's so real.
I think before we get too ahead of ourselves, hello, welcome back to Kill the Computer. As always, Caleb, we got you here. How you doing today?
I'm embarrassed because I did just say how many hours I have in the most recent Madden, or I guess second most recent Madden. Okay, otherwise I'm going soup mode. Okay, it's soup time. I'm soup maxing. I've made soup for 2 days in a row. Today my roux was a little thin. I was trying to go for like a chowder consistency, and I failed, but it was still pretty good. It was like a hearty chicken and sausage, bean, potato situation going on.
That sounds
pretty good.
Fucking sick.
It was pretty sick.
This is you have a couple of months to hone your soup craft still. It's early in the season. In this season, you got time. And we have capital G.
I don't think anyone actually knows my real name. I had a whole thing where someone 8 years ago, who we've known for maybe 10 years, rather, last week told me they thought I was Rob.
Rob. That's some like Ron DeSantis
now.
type shit. Like when
Ron
Trump
DeSantis,
called Ron DeSantis Rob.
I've known this guy for 10 years.
That's crazy.
I've met him. We've hung out in person several times.
It sucks. People call me Bird, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, I know you as Bird.
Dude.
I'm only going to call you Bird, by the way. I'm never, ever going to call you Caleb. You might be 65 years old. I will always call you Bird.
You know the hot springs scene in Game of Thrones where Jaime passes out into the hot springs. He says, "My name is Jaime, not Kingslayer." That's how I feel. Don't call me Bird.
Sadly, you have locked yourself in with your screen name. That's your aesthetic. That's you now. That's just that's the torment we subject ourselves to being online.
June as well. You could actually rechange your name again. It's not going to matter anymore.
Yeah, thankfully my name is close enough to my actual name online. So, or like my actual real life name. So I have that freedom a little bit more. But okay, I'm gonna introduce again. Today we have capital G gamer and freelance journalist, Slasher or Rod Breslau. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I only was having lentil soup, and now I feel kind of boring compared to what you're talking about.
Okay, but let's be real though. Lentils are like top tier.
That's a good
top tier.
It's good. It was really good. It just feels a bit basic. I feel a bit.
We should
basic.
do like a soup tier list in the Discord.
Let's do it. I have a lot of soup opinions. I fuck with soup. Yeah, we'll do a whole bracket. It'll be a fantasy league. We'll put some money on it,
that, dude.
Some side action, some soup side action.
Also, as we were going into the pre-show, Bird here, by the way, your co-host was talking about how many hours he has in Madden. I thought it was going to be like a huge number, and for him, for you, it really is. But for me, that is a pitiful amount. I do respect you more because you didn't think that it was worth it, and I want you to feel like what a capital G gamer gives to another gamer is emotional support. But as a huge capital G gamer, no. What the amount of hours that you have is a pathetic amount compared to a real, true gamer who plays video games on the internet.
Yeah.
But
you'll get
have
there,
you considered
son,
that I hate Madden as well?
Yes.
That's 526 hours and 55 minutes of hate play.
Yeah, no,
that is the fascinating part about a lot of these games, though. I mean, I feel like even in like the good seasons, the good games that you were talking about, I feel like they're still not really well enjoyed all around. Like it still sounds like a lot of people have problems with them.
Rada, what kind of hours are you packing? What do you got?
I have several games where I'm into the thousands of hours, and I've got to be in Quake over 10,000 hours.
Damn.
I would have to be. Overwatch, I have several thousand hours. Counter-Strike, I have several thousand hours. Valorant now, definitely into the hundreds, maybe 1,000. And Quake, since I've been playing for literally 20, almost 25 years now, is definitely in the tens of thousands of hours. It's been a little
Madden
while
for me
though.
is in the thousands if you consider, like, if you add all of them together. But the only other game I think that I've gotten more than 2,000 hours on is I was really depressed for maybe Minecraft too, but Rust.
Oh,
I had that's the most psychotic, awful, evil killer game ever to be made, and it's really fun, unfortunately. So I have probably somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 hours in that.
I gotta say, not all of my hours are very healthy. All right, I definitely ascribe several of them to bad periods in your life, and this is a totally off-topic thing, but all those, all the issues that we got in the world right now. If you kids out there, instead of like learning how to hunt and then going out in the world, just play some games, and instead of like yelling slurs, just be sad and play, and then do nothing. Okay, that'll be much better for you. Not actually, but
speaking of slurs, did you guys see that video that it was like some just like TikToker or this, he was like on a college campus, and there was that like kid, the college kid that said faggot. And then the guy was like, bro, you can't say that. Like, this is like, you can't say this on here. Yeah, it's like, you got to stop. And then the guy was like, oh, you got that on video? Like, I got a job. Like, can you delete that? Can you not put that in the video? And the way that the guy grabs his shoulder and looks at him, it is just so compelling. It's like the greatest mog I have ever seen in my life.
This came out in the last like 24 hours, right? Because I did see a video
2 days ago, maybe.
Yeah.
No, it's incredible. Just a pure mog, gaming mog moment.
We can fix the youth, okay?
Yeah, it just takes stuff like that.
We can de-radicalize the youth through gaming by just making them so sad and depressed that they don't want to go out and do anything, but it never boils over, okay? They're always just consistently grinding away to maybe go pro, but there's never like an extreme version of what happens.
Well, good news for you then. If we got to torture the gamers and make games even worse, we have a huge new player in the gaming space, and it is fucking Saudi Arabia, apparently. Oh, this is so I've been like fascinated by how the Middle East has been able to, like, specifically Saudi Arabia, like UAE, have been like attempting to reshape their image and like project like a nice friendly face as opposed to what it has been, which is, like a lot of crimes against humanity, a lot of like, not great stuff for women's rights, and like just in general not great stuff. I mean, if you trust some of the theories, Saudi Arabia of course was involved in 9/11, so like there's a lot of stuff. And they have also
another consideration to make here, and I'm sorry to cut you off, June, but
you're fine.
I didn't get a chance to put this into your notes when you asked me to make any edits. But one thing that I think is really important to underpin with all of this that is going on is they have that Vision 2030 initiative in Saudi Arabia, where like before they started this, and if you don't know what that is, basically at the time that they had drafted this initiative, the idea is to diversify their economy. At the time, it was something like 70% of their GDP was tied up into oil, and now it's about 40. They're trying to get even more. So they're trying to kind of purchase and get into and invest in other industries, because I think that they've seen and been complicit in cratering oil prices to devastate other economies. You know what I mean? Like when you think of Venezuela, everybody, the prevailing wisdom is, well, it was just socialism run amok. But like over 70% of the Venezuelan economy was actually private. They just were not. It was not a very diverse economy. It was all in oil.
It was all oil,
destroyed. So I think Saudi Arabia and some other countries are like, let's maybe diversify a little bit.
Especially, I think part of it is that, like, obviously green technology is the future. Oil maybe won't be involved in the way, and like maybe a decade or two. Maybe if Trump gets his way, maybe oil and coal will be around for a lot longer. But yeah, so it was part of that. What's it called? I have it written down here actually.
Vision 2030.
Yeah, with that broader like Saudi Vision 2030, that is one of the industries they saw as like a blossoming industry to sort of jump in on, was gaming and esports generally. Like those two together, that was sort of like a 2021 like jump for them. That's sort of it. From what I could tell, that seems to be when they really started to really commit to the gaming space.
It's actually really annoying. I gotta say, well, there's I can kind of blame my friends. Okay, would I say that we're friends, colleagues? There are these two guys. One named Craig Levine. He used to He founded Team 3D, which had a very old Counter-Strike and Halo team.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they had the Ogre Twins, and they had Rambo and K-Sharp, one of the best ever American esports teams. And he also hosted this LAN cafe in Lower Manhattan, right near the Cube, actually, back in like 2001, called Web2 Zone. And that's where all the gamers in New York City would go and hang out. We'd all get really high at the Cube. And then we'd spin the cube, and then we'd go play Quake and Counter-Strike.
That sounds awesome, honestly.
For many years, yeah, it was really great. Well, he went on to then found this company called ESCA, and then they got bought by ESL, and then he became the president of ESL and ran that company, along with this other guy named Ralph, who was the German dude who was the original founder of ESL, and he was a Quake player before that. So I've known each of these two guys for 20 years, and over the course of a bunch of different things happening in terms of the company being sold and then where it got sold to, and then it gets sold again, it was a prime target to be resold to the Saudis, to be the very first thing that they do to then go do everything else.
That's right. That's one of the teams that Saudi Arabia still has is ESL, and I'm blanking on the other one, but that is one of their, I think, two teams, correct?
The ESL and it's like a tournament. ESL is a tournament organizer, and then Faceit is the tournament platform where you usually queue up Counter-Strike, and they have Dota as well, and you play pug teams, and so it's to get around the official matchmaking for Valve games. But that was their way to initially get into gaming and esports. That was their purchase. So I kind of can blame my two homeboys for putting this entire thing in motion. And both of them have also definitely helped them orchestrate all of the other following things that have happened.
I guess before, because I mean, not to jump ahead a little bit, but it's wild to me how many people seem very willing to just see those Saudi Arabia bucks and drop every notion of principles that they might have had and just sort of be like, you know what, I'll do anything for this Saudi money. A lot of people are just
was
so
like beloved by all for about 15 minutes and then did that comedy festival, and now everyone's like, fuck you.
Yeah, so many people are just so willing to drop everything for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
I mean, like, we'll go into like the numbers, but I actually think this is kind of a reality check for both the West and for people who are here in America and that are looking at this, and a lot of people that actually took these deals. And then even from the Saudi perspective, I don't even know if they thought it would be this easy to basically buy up every fabled, beloved American entertainment institution and or sports club and or sport across the world. Which
they're kind of
basically
destroying us right now. They're fucking owning us. They're going to town on us. No, it's crazy how it's simple it seems. And I think a part of it is, you know, like Donald Trump is making insane in his first term and his second term has made like insane deals and approved so many crazy different deals across so many different industries, especially in media, that he's sort of just opening the way for countries like Saudi Arabia to just make these deals and like move in these ways and get funding in these ways and like to influence America in ways that I feel like, you know, under anyone other than Trump, it might not have been this easy. I at least is my theory. It does seem to be a very Trump thing.
To be fair, Biden did let all the other ones happen anyway.
That's true. Yeah, that is a good point. No, it's all of these political parties is the thing. But Trump is like he has a big.
He is helping the Saudis out, make it even easier than it was before, which I didn't know how that was possible. But I'm sure he, as we know, Kushner is now one of the controlling interests of EA in this new sale. So he somehow made the Saudis deals even, you know, better to obtain than before, which can't be good going forward.
Yeah, so that deal I think happened about 3 weeks ago now. The Saudi Arabia Jared Kushner firm and the private equity company Silver Lake about 3 weeks ago now, and I decided like, okay, let me look at all of these different, like the 3 different big groups involved. And of course, like Saudi Arabia with the public, or it's a Savvy, what is it called? Savvy Games Group. Them with the public investment fund. And then it was Jared Kushner's affinity firm and affinity group. And an interesting fact about them, which I found earlier today, is that despite Kushner's firm having like over $1 billion in assets, they have not returned any positive revenue at all to any of the companies. Like they are just a money hole, which leads me to believe there's like a lot of like deals. It's like a big like wink and a nod and bribe like firm essentially. And then the other one, which is the Silver Lakes private equity group, is the same company that's involved with the TikTok deal with Mark not Mark Andreessen, the
Larry Ellison, friend of the show.
Larry Ellison, yeah, friend of the show, and of course like the U.S. sale of TikTok. So it's very similar groups, and Jared Kushner, Trump's relative, is also involved. Very, very concerning. Don't love to see it. So like I saw some
How
of this.
does that even happen? Not only do the Saudis own it, but also Kushner and also Silver Lake.
Yeah,
how do we get the trifecta?
I don't know. It's like every evil. No, it's really astounding. Like it's just like it's as bad as it could be for EA. But you know, so I saw that like Saudi Arabia got control of this. Like they're the primary stakeholders, I believe. And I started researching like what's going on here. And I saw the Savvy Games Group has been making a lot of these moves for the last couple of years now. And you know, they bought up the company that owns Niantic for Pokemon Go. Which I believe is called Scopely, which is like one of the biggest like mobile games developers on the planet, and they have continued to make these deals.
Yeah, monopoly.
They have like Saudi Arabia is very quickly moving
Saudis own
to a monopoly.
Pokemon Go now.
Technically, yeah, it is primary stake Saudi Arabia. Yeah,
that's really concerning when you consider how and why that game was made. Like the conspiracies around that are actually true. Sorry, I know that makes me a freak, but that was started with like CAA seed funding to create essentially like user mapping of.
Wait, can you fill me in on like your top one?
On my what?
Like your top one conspiracy? I didn't know there were other multiple.
Well, just it's like a CIA op, basically a behavior monitoring app and a mapping app or whatever.
Love it.
That's like actually kind of true. So the fact that the Saudis now own that is cause for some concern, I would say.
Yeah, they bought them 2 years ago now, so it's still relatively fresh. But it is.
I'm not going to stop playing, dude. I got to get my steps in somehow.
Do you still play it?
Sometimes I go through phases. And you'd think those phases would happen in like the 6 weeks that I have nice weather here, but they don't. I actually, for whatever reason, I end up going on more walks around town and places when it's shitty out. So I'm in soup mode right now, and that actually coincides with Pokemon Go season.
No, it's a perfect time of year for that. You know, I love a nice nighttime walk.
The new apartment that I'm looking at has so many gyms and stops around it, dude. I can't wait.
Finding a new place to live based on the gym potential is
kind of, dude. I've been living in the fucking middle of nowhere for how long now? So yeah, I actually am going to be choosing my apartment. So it won't be a huge wait, but there will be some wait based on Pokemon Go credentials.
No, I fucking love that. I mean, that's better than a windstorm taking out your internet. Like we've had a couple of times during the lifetime of this show where it's like, well, we got to record another day. The wind took everything out.
Where are you?
I'm in the rural Washington state.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Damn, you're getting hit off by hurricanes.
I mean, it's just like anytime the branches get heavy enough with anytime it goes below freezing, essentially we have power outages out here because the branches fall. And then anytime that coincides with any sort of wind, that's happened a couple times, and it's like not that big of a deal. I'd say I lose power probably 15 times a year, but like sometimes I lose it for like a day or like 2 days at a time, and it's not ideal out here. So
Yeah, that's wild. I can't imagine that personally, but no, I hope you find a better place soon. Side note.
Well, in Tacoma City limits, that's not an issue at all. But just like I said, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so
yeah. But
see, you could always be more terminally online, where you needed to have done this like years ago, but you are just sane enough where you have been able to survive.
The wind takes out
like
your
this.
internet, and you're like, thank fucking God, I can't see this shit.
Yeah,
thank God. No more discourse. So no, Saudi Arabia has been like taking over a lot of that shit. And so my first exposure to the involvement with esports, like esports teams and players, was I think just this last year. I went to Combo Breaker 2024, and I believe it was Tekken. I can't remember exactly. It was either Tekken or Street Fighter. I think it was Tekken. There was a match where two Saudi sponsored players go up. And they're facing off against each other. Really hype set, but I was like, that was like a first realization that I was like, oh wait, Saudi Arabia is like really in this. Like they're spending, and of course they have like unlimited money, so they can just spend however much and like prop up the esports industry, which is like famously not hard to profit from. There's so many cycles of esports teams starting and very quickly going out of business or like having to drop players because there's just not a lot of money in esports, and especially if the game industry leaders, like the people that make these games, don't really contribute anything to it. And Saudi Arabia, with their unlimited oil blood money or whatever, like they can just throw that at this shit, so they've become just like a really big force in the scene because of that.
So do you think that let me ask, is that like by design? This is like, well, we can take this as a loss leader. And I understand that part of this is a PR campaign, and part of it too is that their country is they recently went through like a population boom. So it's a very young country. Do you think this is intentional loss leader just for those reasons?
Yes. Oh, are you asking June or me?
Both of you guys, yeah.
Go for it.
I mean, for sure. Has either of you watched Live Golf? Have you watched 1 second of Live Golf?
I haven't, but I know they're getting really involved in golf too. Saudi Arabia is.
There are golfers that they paid $100 million to create the new league, Live Golf, and you have probably never heard about it.
Yeah, I've never
really,
heard of
or
that.
You've never watched it 1 second, even though you could have streamed it at any point in time over the like dozen events in the last 2 years. And that's
awesome,
most
dude.
people. Okay, that's most people. So that's pretty much every single investment that they do. From my understanding, not even just gaming, but almost everything that they've bought does not make any money. It's just to further their reach over the world and soft power. And as you mentioned, to diversify into pretty much everything. Because esports is taking a hit. Esports does not make money. Esports has a ton of monetization problems, which makes it actually a very good time to invest in it because, you know, there are issues in the industry and it's kind of like a buy low type of thing. But really, I think overall, it's really to just put as much reach out as possible. So esports isn't making money. However, there are still really tens of millions of people that are tuning in. It still does really great in terms of a live stream and YouTube views and all on social media and all that other stuff. So that's really what they're looking for anyway.
Yeah, and like the primary way to profit other than ads for those things is just like people attending the events. So it's that's part of why like a lot of these like esports events are pretty hard to profit from unless you're just completely price gouging people out of it and making it like a luxury event, which is like sort of impossible with esports, at least right now. I don't think it's built up quite enough to really have it be like like a football stadium type experience where you're spending like $300 for something like that. I don't know if that's actually how much people pay for it, but that sounds right.
That exists. The new Counter-Strike tournament for Cologne next year, I think they're charging $1,000 actually.
Oh my fucking God.
€1,000. €1,000. Well, I mean, part of it is that people don't want to pay for stuff online. I mean, that is like, here's the economy of esports is very evident in terms of like determining internet behaviors. And most people don't want to pay for watching a thing on a live stream. People will donate to streamers because they like the stream and they like the person, but it's not the same as when you're buying an NFL or the NBA package or whatever. People don't really want to do that behavior for video games, and the developers don't want to do that because that limits the amount of people that are going to buy stuff in the game, which is really how they make all their money anyway. So in both ways, they want to put everything for free. And so when you had everything for free, you got to jack up the rare in-person stadium type stuff to like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, like I've gone to esports events. I went to Combo Breaker. That's I think one of the bigger ones I've actually in person been to, and that's like a pretty reasonable one. That's a very small event compared to some of these events.
Okay,
that is FGC.
Put some respect.
Yeah.
They probably. He's not going to want you to call that esports. No, he's going to want you to say
esports.
That's FGC.
That's esports to me. That's as serious as esports to me. FGC is real. That I will stand on that. That's my controversial opinion. FGC is esports. The way that people train the people.
You just lost. You write that statement right there. You have lost maybe even your own audience.
No.
Here, okay.
I will always stand by
for
that.
Those, just for as an exercise, for those at home who don't know, what is that? What are we talking about?
So FGC is the fighting game community. So it's more like Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat. I include Smash, Super Smash Brothers Melee, and Ultimate, of course, in there. That's even contentious among the FGC community.
You're a Big Ten. You're a Big Ten gamer. I respect that too.
What can I say? I'm a real liberal when it comes to the esports and fighting game community. I love everyone. I love inclusion.
You're including Smash, and you're also saying it's all esports. You could not be more Big Ten than that.
Saudi Arabia is gonna love me. No, I'm very Big Tent on that. But yeah, so but yeah, it's like even events like that, like a very small one in comparison to a lot of these like Counter-Strike and like League of Legends, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Saudi Arabia has hosted like big like a League of Legends event, and has like Mohammed bin Salman has like hung out with like some top league players. I think he plays League of Legends, and he like likes to talk to these people. He's like really into personally MBS is really into esports and like League of Legends and shit.
Yeah, it is a big reason why they're doing all that.
It's like Kim Jong-un really liking basketball and like having a basketball court in North Korea. It's like I kind of admire, as you know, as bad as like MBS is, I kind of admire like he has his hobby, and he's like, you know, I'm going to use all this power just to create a stadium to watch League of Legends. Like on some level, on a very deep level, I kind of like, okay, I kind of respect that.
They did it for literally everything so far. They're hosting the next like WrestleMania or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They bought all of golf. They have like 3 or 4 Formula One races now. They're buying football teams. They're the ones that are reportedly rumored to do the new basketball competing league with LeBron that's being worked on for the NFL for the NBA in Europe. I'm sure they will buy some NFL team in the next 2 years when an owner makes a racist outburst or whatever, and they have to sell the team. Whenever there's another
it's funny
Washington
that you mentioned that, Rod, because
thing happen.
Yeah, the next Dan Snyder. It's funny that you mentioned that, though, because the news just broke this week that Saudi Arabia is in talks with Roger Goodell because they're doing like they've been really expanding international games. And yeah, it looks like in the next year or two, Saudi Arabia is going to happen, which is going to be interesting because it's like a fucking 120 degrees is there, but they'll figure it out.
Oh, they have the new flag football league. I forgot about that. Tom Brady is coming back out of retirement to play flag football in Saudi Arabia, and
they have they just have so much money. They just make everyone they can make anyone do anything they fucking want. If you gave me
unlimited money at 12 years old, I'm like, yeah, I'll just invest it all into video games and like football. Like, yep.
And I mean, this is exactly what you were saying before.
This is the Yippee Fund.
Yippee! I mean, like Rod, you were totally right though about how this is like a broader like cultural reset. I saw the phrase while looking into this for like preparing for this episode. I saw the word sports washing, like, you know, like whitewashing, but using like the cultural output of like a sport to really just be like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to tune into the like Saudi league because they own sports now, and it's like you don't really think as critically of them. It's like that sort of like whitewashing situation for a country that's very corrupt and bad. And this is just a fun fact I found recently. I might be new, like I might be very out like misinformed, not misinformed. Maybe I'm the only person in the world that found this crazy, but I recently found out that MBS is the first non-son ruler. Like, so there was the original king of Saudi Arabia when it became a country, and then every ruler after that original king was a son of that king. This, like, MBS is the first non-son ruler. It was like a sun-based rulership until
sun-based economy.
Yeah, he's the first non-child ruler, and I just find that fascinating. I like genuinely that cracked me up when I learned that strange fact about Saudi Arabia. But yeah, no, there's it's like a cultural reset, and I find that very concerning.
Well,
just
we don't have nepotism there anymore.
Yeah, really, that was
We're
the worst
the
part of Saudi. It was the worst part was the hypocrisy, really. But yeah, no, just like that reset is what's so concerning to me, with just how much money they have, and yeah, they can buy all of golf, and everyone's just like, yep, this is cool. And then there's the Riyadh Comedy Festival, and everyone's like, yeah, that's cool, I guess. Bill Burr and all of these people are just going to go there, do some comedy, and act like it's not a big deal, when it sort of is a big deal. It's really sort of a big deal. At least it should be, I feel like.
Yeah, I love that Dave Chappelle's like, I could have more free speech here than I do in America. Like, come on, man.
Did they have a gun to his back? Jesus.
I don't even fucking know. I'm sure, like, I know, I haven't seen it, and I'm not going to see it, but I know Dave Chappelle's shtick well enough to know that he probably would, there's probably some gotcha attached to that. Like, oh, Dave Chappelle said this, but it's probably in combination with some other thing, because that's just how he does things. So he gets people pissed off with some dumb headline, and then he can say, actually, you didn't get the full context. That's what he always does. So I'm not playing his game. True. Fuck him anyway.
No, that's true.
Most of the comedians get around it because their anti-cancel culture shtick over the last couple years aligns perfectly with like Middle Eastern humor too. They don't mind if you bash gay people or trans people or anything. They approve of those jokes. The jokes you couldn't tell, at least from the contracts, were religion. So no religious jokes, and you can't say anything about the Saudis themselves and the kingdom and MBS. But those are things that not any of them care for, and it feels like people don't make religious jokes anymore. I don't know why that went out of fashion so much, but everyone's really concerned about anti-cancel culture stuff, not like being able to talk about, you know, God and Muhammad or whatever. They're not making those jokes anyway. Most of the people who played that set, so they actually don't really care about the quote unquote like free speech aspect of it.
Not at all. And, you know, pulling this back a little bit to the EA deal, because that EA deal with Saudi Arabia and Jared Kushner's whole thing, I was like, okay, this is like a very clear, big instance. Like, EA is a big publishing company in the United States. It's a United States based company, big game publisher, of course, controversial. I'm not defending EA here. They're not a great company, but like, I was like, okay, this is like a clear, in the framing of how like right wingers always frame this, they're always like, oh, we are against like the takeover of anti-Western influence in America. And it's like, if you are one of these people, you're probably concerned, I would imagine, you're probably concerned that Saudi Arabia is buying, especially like the gaming industry. They're like very quickly taking over and becoming a big presence in this space. You'd think that gamers, especially the like Gamergate type guys, would be very concerned about this. But no, you're right. Our friend of the show, Grums, I checked into him. I saw what he had to, what his takeaway on this was. And I'll just read one of his tweets here. Electronic arts devs are crashing out over the EA buyout.
Yeah, I saw
a big
this.
FU to all women and LGBTQ+. What a shame. Maybe they should all self-deport.
Nobody said that but you.
yeah, he said that. and then he finishes this with, what a shame. Maybe they should all self-deport out of the industry as a protest. And it's like, they're fully on board. They don't care that this is like an anti-West thing. It's all about ideology for these people. They don't care if they're linking up with like a far-right government, right? Like a far-right, like religious theocracy. They're just like, like, are the women gonna get dunked on? I'm in favor of it.
Forget like the civics. What are the jiggle physics that we're going to be seeing from this? Right?
No, I mean, look, as someone who's been like, I've been out there on the front lines doing national media and trying to get on TV to talk about how the Saudis taking over everything that I've grown up and loved is being destroyed. So I've really tried to do this, and I really have noticed, compared to things like when China is in the news, or has, like, when they forced Activision Blizzard to ban that the Hong Kong player when he was trying to protest on Hearthstone, the amount of anti-Chinese sentiment here is like 1,000 times higher than people caring, like the normal everyday person caring about the Saudis. It didn't even actually, Biden nor Trump being in president, it seemed to matter. And if anything, as you mentioned earlier, I think people are probably now even more sympathetic to the Saudis. And they're, you know, I think there's a lot of reasons where people don't seem to really care about Saudi Arabia and them buying stuff and then encroaching on everything, compared to other maybe more hot button issues or countries to associate with certain things.
Yeah, and I feel like, and I hate to be like, oh, this is the blatant hypocrisy of this, but I feel like this just really reveals, especially from a lot of these like Gamergate guy types, where it's like they don't actually care about like the betterment of the game industry. They don't want, like, a big part of the problem, I feel like, maybe I'm a little out of date, I haven't kept up with like real gaming discourse, but I feel like the financialization of every aspect of all video games, like, I'm sure if I popped open that Caleb, that new Madden game that you're talking about, I'm sure I could spend thousands of dollars on in-game purchases that are going to be thrown away in the next iteration. Like, these people are not talking about those things. That stuff is going to continue. Those like microtransaction, like, bullshit economies are going to continue under this new buyout. That is going to be it's going to be expanded probably. Like, that is, I think, the real problem with the gaming industry is just like the massive over financialization and like the gouging of the actual gamer above like the actual experience of the game itself. And I feel like people like this, people just like celebrating, I guess, the own on the LGBTQ pluses, they're not talking about the things that actually are going to happen. And, you know, private equity is involved with this EA thing. They're talking about pivoting to AI, and EA is probably going to be gouged out, bled dry, and left for dead in a couple of years is probably what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, again, I can only speak directly on this from the Madden angle, but maybe it's for the best. That's all I can say. I don't know, dog. Don't get mad at me.
Saudi Arabia's got you too. Fuck.
Yeah, dude.
It's that bad. Madden's that bad.
It's that bad.
EA was America's company to hate. Okay, it was ours. We all have grown up with EA creating dog shit in FIFA or Madden,
my whole life,
Battlefield, or anything, Assassin's Creed, and a lot of the things. Sorry, Ubisoft, but them too, honestly. A lot of these franchises that we've grown up with were really good, and then now they're a lot of shit a lot of the time. And they're able to just continue to reproduce them year after year, and we're always going to buy it. But they were our company to shit on. They were America's dog shit, and now they are Saudi private equity Kushner dog shit, and it doesn't have the same ring to it as before.
And that's the thing. It's like, I don't want to feel like I'm defending EA, because I'm not. But it's like,
yeah, I mean, to be clear, I was totally joking with that.
No, but it's
I don't think that's good. And in fact, if you love Madden, I don't, but I still play it. If you do love Madden, just if you think the Ultimate Team microtransaction loot box shit is bad now, it's coming to franchise. Like, there's no avoiding it now.
God, that's so disappointing. That's so depressing.
Well, now that you mentioned Goodell, there's definitely an NFL Saudi Madden deal that I could foresee happening in the next year or two. So thank you for putting that out there. I actually really think that's a possibility.
It's all happening.
Yeah,
it's all happening. And you know, it's I'm not, again, I'm not defending EA. It's just, this is a sign of like things to come. Like Saudi Arabia is probably going to continue buying, all these other sorts of things with their Saudi Vision 2030, which speaking of which, this is just a sidebar, but I found it fascinating to look into. I'm sure you guys know about Neom, or I think it's pronounced Noam, yep. Neom. Mm-hmm. I was like, I heard about that shit like 8 years ago. What is the like?
Is that the city that's like the train line city or whatever?
Yeah, yep. It's the line, as they call it, the line city that I guess we're going to start building soon after announcing it. So I was like, where have they gotten on that? Have they built any?
They keep announcing mega cities and mega structures, but I don't know that any of them are actually going to happen.
So I did a little research. I was like, where is like 7 years into Neom's like reveal? Where have they gotten on the construction of it? And I did a little digging. I found a video, somebody covering just like the updates, because apparently a lot of like they're probably, some of it's probably slave labor. Let's be honest. But a lot of the people working on Neom have like posted videos, and they're primarily just moving sand around. They're just sort of excavating where the line city is going to be, where they'll theoretically put concrete. As far as I'm aware, they have not built more than like a couple of like small segments of concrete at all for this city. So I find it fascinating that they've just been moving sand for like 7 years, which because it's just in the desert. For people that don't know, it's just like literally going to be like an economic business hub and tourism hub in like a line in Saudi Arabia that you can just like fly to. And they have not gotten very far on that either.
Interesting. I was kind of wondering how that. Aren't they trying to build like an enormous cube as well? Which frankly I'm for. I'm against the Lion City, but I am for the cube.
The cube in Mecca, that one you're talking about?
Is that the one? I just saw a picture of it. It looked menacing.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with Islam. I think it's like it's where people sort of.
I mean, I'm down for that. Build all that cool shit. Build a ton of cool shit. Like that's actually would be great if they were to use all that money.
Yeah, construction this is as of last year, Newsweek. Construction underway on a 50 billion giant cube in Saudi Arabia. It's called the Mihab, I think is how you pronounce that. In Riyadh. Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. It looks pretty fucking sick to me.
No, I like the cube. I fuck with the cube.
They're trying to make Qiddiya the gaming city too. So they're trying to make the entire city video games or whatever.
Gaming city? Wait, what's the city? Which one is this one?
Qiddiya. I believe it's pronounced Qiddiya.
Oh my god! What's their plan with it? Are they putting like stadiums there?
They're the ones that bought Evo. Technically,
they own Evo.
Yeah, the Saudis own Evo now, but they're I believe the technical entity for Evo ownership. It is under the PIF in general, but they're the specific thing now. Just another one down the list. It's fine.
And if you're lucky enough to, maybe you're able to travel there, maybe you want to go, you'll be very lucky. In 2027 they're hosting the first Olympic esports event, so that's going to be an interesting one as well.
They bought off the Olympic Committee to get the rights to that as well.
God, it's all
they have the entire Olympic esports rights for, I believe, 12 years or so.
They just have everything.
And all of this is in coordination and collaboration with the developers. So for them to do their own esports World Cup thing, which is those tournaments that you were talking about, which they're doing every year now in Saudi Arabia, they paid Riot, they paid Activision Blizzard, they paid Epic Games, they paid Ubisoft, and they paid EA for the use of all of their games. All of those amounts are disclosed, and I am working on it right now to try to undisclose them. But the Riot deal was, from what I understand, in the tens of millions of dollars over a 3-year deal. So even now, when you have to watch the League of Legends World Championships are going on right now, you have to watch EWC Saudi Arabia ads inside of the Worlds tournament, even though the EWC event ended a couple months ago because they made this deal. So now Riot has to promote the Saudi stuff all the time, and all the other things that they're doing that are totally unrelated to EWC. So they've gotten everyone's complicit here. Everybody is complicit. All the teams, all the developers, all the publishers, all the players. all the media, comedians, sports owners, sports teams, wrestlers, golfers, racers. No one has said no. There's not really. If you're Tiger Woods, and there actually are a couple video game streamers out there who deserve a lot of props for saying no, but the list is tiny. Okay, the list is tiny. So for that EWC stuff, I'm also working on how much they're paying streamers. And I can't say a specific name because I'm still working on this, but I can give you one data point. So you know how Taylor Lorenz about a month or two ago put out her report on Chorus Dark Money, which was a huge topic of discussion for a month on my feed. I gotta tell you, I cannot believe how much that thing was talked about before the world went to hell, and we all kind of forgot about that. How much people talked about this one story. Okay. At least a month's worth of timeline discussion. I'm sure you guys spoke about it as well.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Okay. So this one individual streamer made more in an hour and a half of streaming than a year's worth of the Chorus Dark Money funds for all of its creators combined.
What the fuck?
What the fuck, man?
See, they just have unlimited money.
It's gonna make me mad when I find out who this is, isn't it?
This is one stream of that one guy. He had 4 total streams. For 4 streams, he made $1 million.
That is unreal. Oh my God. And
each stream was no more than 2 hours long. So for about 8 to 9 hours, it was $1 million.
That is unreal. They just have unlimited money. They unlocked the unlimited money glitch, and
another streamer declined going for $1.5 million, and he had to just go and be there for 24 hours.
Go to be in Saudi Arabia?
Yes, to attend.
Oh my God.
Didn't even have to live stream while he was there. Just had to go.
Dear God. I guess as we're wrapping out an hour here, I guess going forward, I mean, like to me, and Caleb, it's the constant thing with the show. I have a big question
for you two.
Oh yeah, but the constant thing in this show is, what's up? Sorry.
How much is this show worth?
I mean, let me put it this way: if they wanted
there's no immediate no. This show is not for sale, no matter what. Now that you're hearing some numbers, what number exactly are you gonna go? You know what? They're not so bad. I gotta hear Bill Burr out a little bit more. I think now that I get to know what's going on.
Do I have to keep doing the show, or can they just buy my silence?
You have to do it for a little bit. Yeah.
I think it's to spread the pros.
Kill the computer alive in Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
The live show in Riyadh.
Dude. I mean, like,
can I
don't
be
think
honest?
I'm making it out of Saudi Arabia alive. If I'm too annoying.
I'm definitely not making it out alive. If I go there, it's over for me.
That's actually part of it. You, I think, would be treated special. You would actually be used as like their
Blair White.
Look how nice we are.
Yeah.
I'll be their Blair White.
Because even in esports, like if Sonic Fox, who has refused to go for the Esports World Cup once they're hosting an event next year, he said he's refused. But if he went, I am pretty sure nothing would happen to him, and they would use him as a prop for their propaganda over there. So I actually think it might even be the worst. You'd probably be really safe. They're going to pay you all the money, but you better do. But all right, now go out.
No, I think that's definitely true. I mean, I think that's why they do these things. They do these things for the propaganda. But I it's easy for me to say this deal's not real. And like, of course, in theory, there's nothing on the line here. But I would like to think I would have the principles to not accept something like that. It's very disappointing to me to watch people like Bill Burr, even with like, okay, maybe it's an impressive amount of money.
Dude.
Yeah. Like even me, where I'm not even close to the peak wealth that he's at. And I feel like I would have enough principles. I feel like that's so valuable to me. I think if I see people betray their actual principles and what they say they believe, how can I trust anything else they say? And if I feel like if I was to betray my own principles, how could I believe anything I actually believe? What's even the point of having beliefs if I'm so easily persuadable? And I think that's like the big concern with like any amount of like moneyed influence in like any industry, whether it be like the game industry or just like politics in general. I think it's a huge concern because I feel like people need to stand by their principles. Like, what's the point of any of this if you are just saying bullshit? Like, what's the point of it? Right?
Rod,
like, why do you actually believe things?
You missed the first part of this. We recorded a little ditty before you got on. But just for your knowledge, to frame this a little bit, we were approached by actually a couple different podcast networks, and they wanted us to essentially to run ads on our show in exchange for money. But the problem was, in at least one case of the multiple that we've spoken to, we have no choice over. We were required to do ad reads, and we would be required with no control over who our advertisers were. So we did nowhere near like Saudi $1 million money, but we did just turn down a pretty significant amount of money for a lot less than that. So
yeah,
so you guys are hardcore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Parentheses, small, lowercase, stupid. Parentheses.
Yes. No, correct. No, I don't know.
What are these ads for? How bad could they be? Like, what do you?
It's just not even knowing, not having control.
Yeah, well, we don't even know. Like, this thing is, I was trying to explain. This is a really funny story. Maybe I shouldn't be explaining this on there, but fuck it, whatever. We're not gonna sign with them anyway.
DraftKings, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs down.
I was trying to explain
on
to
DraftKings. You're more of a FanDuel type of group.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I won't do sports gambling. I've been loud and against that for a long time. But I was trying to explain to the CEO of the network, like, hey, man, like BetterHelp won't want to advertise. There was one of the people that was floated. BetterHelp will not want to advertise on the show. BetterHelp has me blocked on Twitter because I made a joke about like my targeted advertisements after BetterHelp one session with them, and it was like a noose and a wobbly chair or whatever, and they got really upset with me. It's like, dude, that's the kind of show we are. Like, you can't, like, they're not going to want to advertise with us. And he didn't seem to think that there was going to be an issue, but I mean,
wouldn't it make the ad read even better?
What's
that? That would improve the ad read and engagement probably on their end.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Again, maybe it's something we eventually revisit. But I think it's ultimately down to like the same problem that we have with Saudi Arabia. And not that there's anything. The guy specifically, Caleb, that you were talking about, I want to be clear. Very, very nice guy.
Super
like genuine,
nice.
like
a lot
amazing.
of good people on that network. To be clear, that I'm not. That's not even in the same league of like Saudi Arabia. Like everyone involved is like very like good, and we're not going to name them or whatever. Well, there's another network that was a little less cool, but the one that we were closer to anyway. Super nice. Lots of friends of our show that are on that network, and no, it's not Cool Zone because everybody keeps asking if it was Cool Zone. But yeah, just didn't really. It was more. It wasn't that there was anything wrong with the people involved. It was just like without the control of what ads are running, I just couldn't say yes to that. Sports gambling, Rod, you nailed that. Like, that's a big one for me. I can't really, like, I couldn't have that on my show.
Oh, you two are much more ethically sound than I am. I'm totally down for, I don't care anymore. Okay. I'm a big sports guy. I have had to watch 5 million MGM, DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo Sports, ESPN now has a bet thing when Barstool was doing gambling. Okay, it's all over my shit everywhere. I don't care. DraftKings or FanDuel, you want to give me a bunch of money? Fine.
I still have the very optimistic belief that if we can, we can change the world by doing things on a very small scale individually, as like very ethically as possible.
We can all be poor together, guys.
But no, I think there's a lot of value. Personally, I find a lot of value in people that stick by their very supposed
who could
strong
ever
principles.
Take us seriously? Like a big substantial chunk of this show is doing things. I've done multiple episodes and written things and gone on as a guest for other shows about how like sports gambling is destroying lives and how it's just this insidious force.
No, it's fine. It's not a big no biggie.
Not a big deal. But like, I mean, if I did that and then I got like a FanDuel ad, who would listen to me? You know what I mean? It would be career ending, and it should be anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, who's your team?
Which team for which sport?
Oh, so you have multiple teams.
Yeah, well, I mean, see, I'm Seattle based, right? So it's Mariners, Seahawks.
Oh, you would have Seattle fans tune in to hear you lose all your money on the Seahawks and the Mariners most of the time up until.
Yeah,
wait, did you win tonight?
Maybe
Did
by
you
the
lose
end of
tonight?
this episode, our playoff hope. Well, I don't know. We're going to Game 7.
Oh, okay, maybe. Well, probably.
Yeah, well, no, we're losing tonight, so I don't see that
Are
happening.
you telling me there's not a good chunk of your audience that would just love to hear you gamble away your life savings on the Mariners? I feel like you're actually underestimating the entertainment value.
Well, that's sort of the thing, though, right? Is there's so much of like online spaces and like types of videos where people are just doing gambling, and like
I saw
gambling
a guy put
away
like
their money.
$10,000 down on one hand of blackjack and lost, and I was like, dude,
God, no! A couple of years ago, actually, maybe like 2 years ago now. At this point, someone I was friends with at the time was like really into watching people do gambling videos. So she put on a gambling video. I wish I remember the name of the guy, but he was like some old guy. And we would just like watch some of these gambling videos, and it's like, this is the craziest content I've ever watched in my life. Like the way that they talk, the way that they're into this, the way that like it's presented is just unreal. It was like a new thing for me. It was like discovering an alien. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? It's
definitely changed how like sports are covered in a really insidious bad way. Like I like the way that sports journalists now talk about parlays and stuff is like, dude, like. Even just a few years ago, that wasn't like, that's fucking crazy. I will say, like, if I was going to bet on sports, it would be like, if you, this is a free feed episode. We just did an episode with LYP about where they were doing like, it was like a Slavic high school sports gambling and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, that I might fuck like, there's just insane. It's like, who could ever have an edge on that? I don't know. That's just more whatever.
No, that shit was crazy. I would get in on that personally. Yeah. That one was crazy.
I have some good news for you guys then.
Yeah, I would love to end this episode with good news.
Yeah.
The Saudis do not allow sports gambling sponsorships or advertisements in their stuff.
Ooh.
Wait, that's pretty based,
so big
actually.
W.
I forgot. That's probably part of the Islam. It's probably part of Islam, right? That's like they don't like gambling. Oh shit. That changes the game a little bit here. Wait, shit.
Got to think about it a little bit harder now.
No, I'm still against the Saudi takeover of a lot of this stuff.
Also,
I still think it's bad.
If for no other reason than I don't want to have I don't want to be in the same camp as Mark Kern. I just can't have that.
There will be a Riyadh podcast festival by next year, and you guys say this now, okay? You say this now, but it's coming. That offer's coming for you.
Yeah.
No, I hope not. Dear God. I guess before we go though, Rod, what a final, I guess, question for me is like, this is going to keep accelerating, right? Like, do you think that they're going to just basically own the gaming industry by the end of the decade?
Very possible. Microsoft they're the other people that own everything at the moment.
Yeah.
And they're in a tenuous situation where the entire purpose of their company is basically AI, like every other tech company right now. So that's where all of their funding is. That's where all of the investment is. That's where all of the focus is there. And the gaming end and Xbox is in a weird kind of spot. So there is some nightmare scenario that Microsoft spins out Xbox and or wants to sell Bethesda and or wants to sell Blizzard and all the gaming stuff. Like, that is a possible thing. And then Saudi buys things that Microsoft wants to sell, like Saudi buying Blizzard or Saudi buying Bethesda. There have been rumors of Saudis trying to buy Twitch from Amazon. So there is more nightmare scenario potential.
Brother.
That is out there. I don't think any of those things I don't think we're close to any of those things happening, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
I think we gotta wait and see how that AI bubble, if it pops. I think that's what we're gonna have to wait for. Shit.
That's everyone knows AI is sustainable, so.
We all know this.
Oh yeah.
We all know this.
Rod, where can our listeners find you?
Really just not doing anything on Twitter. I think I did this last time I was here as well. I tweet sometimes. I'm now trying to use Blue Sky literally because of you two. Are two of the only reasons I'm trying so hard to entertain myself on here. It's really difficult, but I'm giving it a go.
I like Blue Sky. I like it personally.
It's getting better.
It is good. It's fine.
The technology's cool. I will say. Like,
yeah, you love it because you run the whole site. So,
well,
no shit.
That's not true. That's maybe, I'm very lucky. I got there very early. I was able to build a little bit more.
June and Rachel Maddow.
We're colleagues. Yeah, we talk. Yeah. Her and I talk on there. But no, thank you for joining us to talk about this. This is I feel like this is going to be a relevant topic that a lot of people are going to be tuning into soon because they're fucking going at gaming. So thanks for joining us, and everyone who's listening, talk to you soon. See ya.
See you next week.
Bye.
The computer.